This is Backstage Bay Area, your all-access pass to the local music scene.
This is Backstage Bay Area, and I'm Steve Roby. Cuban-American master Paquito D'Rivera is a multi-Grammy-winning alto saxophonist, clarinetist, and composer whose career spans decades as a band leader here in the U.S. On today's show, we'll talk about his album, Jazz Meets the Classic, which features the band he's bringing with him for shows at SFJAZZ and what concert goers can look forward to. Paquito, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thank you. I am so happy that I came looking forward to that trip to that beautiful city.
Absolutely. I see you have a very busy tour schedule with appearances in Poland and Spain before heading to San Francisco. So thank you for the time conducting this interview today.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. I have nice memories from your city, and I am happy to go back there. That's a long time.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Well, let's talk about the record Jazz Meets the Classic. For listeners new to this record, what inspired the album and how did you choose which themes to reimagine?
Well, my father was a classical saxophone player. He was the person who imported the French school or the saxophone from the Paris Conservatory. Marcel Buell and Daniel Defayet, all those great classical saxophone players and composers, most of them French composers. So I grew up listening to many different types of music. My father, he thought that he didn't have any talent to improvise. I doubt it. Everybody can improvise, but he didn't trust his improvising skill. So I grew up listening to every type of music. I didn't know the difference between, Beethoven and Ellington. It was just something different, another type of music. And then when I made this CD, I had in mind using several European composers mixed with some of the other composers from the New World. It's just music. Not because you are because you are a jazz musician, you are forbidden to enjoy the music of Tchaikovsky or Stravinsky or Brahms.
Sure, why not?
Only that we play in a different way, maybe a little more rhythmic.
When you adapt a well-known theme, where do you let the original composition lead, and where do you invite the rhythm section and improvisers to reshape the piece?
You know that some European composers are a little more swinging than others. People like, for example, Brahms is pure B11s, or Chopin also a very, very B11ish, or vice versa. Some composers are more. Mozart is good for everything, and not to talk about Bach. I think it's the most. This Gillespie told me that Bach was the first bebopper. He was not too far from the reality.
How so? How do you interpret that?
The language that Bach was using in that early age of the music had a lot to do with the bebop language. I think probably Charlie Parker was listening a lot to Bach because that it's pretty bebop oriented for some reason. Yeah. For me, it's very hard to explain, but it's like Herbie Hancock, Herbie and also Louis Armstrong say the jazz is something impossible to describe, but very easy to recognize. How can you describe how bebopper is Bach? You have to listen into it and you immediately feel it for some reason.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen to other composers.
I see the connection now. Before we play the track Fantasia Impromptu, what should we be listening to in this arrangement, melodically, rhythmically, or in the solo order?
Chopin has been a favorite of mine for many, many years. And many years ago, a Cuban pianist who lived in Toronto for many years, Hilario Duran, he wrote a big band arrangement on the Fantasia Impromptu by Frédéric Chopin. I fall in love with that arrangement. And then many years later, I asked Hilario, would you repeat that arrangement for my quintet? And then he did it, and it's wonderful. And also he did the same arrangement for big band. It's a very jazzy tune to play. Very difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well,
Very difficult technically, and I didn't want to play in the original key because that is in D flat. That is too complicated. And then I transcribed to the key of C, and it's the first time in my life I see a musician protesting for having to play in C. Man, but this is in C. First time I see that somebody protest to play in C, complaining for playing in C.
Yeah. Well, let's listen to it now. This is Fantasia Impromptu from Jazz Meets the Classics. We'll discuss more on the other side. This is Backstage Bay Area.
You like it, that one?
Paquito is my guest today on Backstage Bay Area. Paquito, what surprised you as that version came together?
After Hilario wrote this wonderful arrangement, on the same idea, you can create many things because it is mixed with samba and also with Cuban rumba. At the end, it's a Cuban rumba. At the beginning, it's like a Brazilian bayao. It's many things, you know. That in the beginning, you feel like Chopin was born in Rio de Janeiro. And then at the end, you feel like Chopin was, he grew up in Havana or something.
Great. So another side of the album comes through on the song E Minor Prelude. What story does this track tell that's different from the last one we played?
And that is a composer that is a favorite of any musician. So that prelude, the E minor prelude is so inspiring to improvise on top of that beautiful chord changes. It's really wonderful. It's all I can tell you that the E minor prelude is very special.
Let's play it now. This is E Minor Prelude from Jazz Meets the Classics. We'll talk more right after this. This is Backstage Bay Area. You just heard E Minor Prelude from Jazz Meets the Classic. Paquito D'Rivera is my guest today on Backstage Bay Area. On that track, what was your goal for the interaction between horns, pianos, percussion, and where does the improvisation push the piece somewhere unexpected?
That is the idea. So we try to do arrangement that doesn't go to the expected parts. So we start we caught the melody and start improvising in the middle of something that is not supposed to be there. And sometimes sound like a mistake, but that's the idea too.
Well, let's talk about your upcoming appearances at SFJAZZ this month. How does playing the minor auditorium shape the music for you compared with smaller rooms, let's say?
Well, every auditorium have a different feeling. The club has a feeling, and then the auditorium is totally different. The interaction in the small clubs are more private or something. You feel closer to the audience, but it's nothing like the feeling and the sound of the big auditorium. It's totally different. It's the difference between a string quartet and a symphony orchestra, or a jazz quintet and a big band. Both are beautiful. It's just different. It's like a beautiful black lady and a beautiful blonde lady. They are both beautiful.
Now, how do you choose?
I take one for the road. I am not saying who.
Okay, between you and me. Okay. Could you introduce the quintet you're bringing and what each player brings to the group's sound?
Well, We have some of them have been with me for more than 30 years.
Wow.
Like Diego Urcola, the wonderful trumpet player, who took the place of Claudio Roditi, rest in peace, the wonderful Brazilian trumpet player. Diego took his place 30 years ago. Then Diego is from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Then Oscar Stagnaro from Lima, Peru, is in the bass. Mark Walker on drums from Chicago, Illinois. And the very, very talented Alex Brown on the piano. That is the most recent addition to my quintet. He has been with me like for 15 years.
All right. Across these two nights, what can the Bay Area audiences look forward to? Are there favorites going to be in there from your songbook, new material, or any surprises?
Jazz is about improvisation. Always I say that in this profession, you never know what to expect. You never know what's going to happen. Not even you are going to get paid sometimes. So be ready, because you never know. What improvised music is always a surprise.
So I guess it's safe to say that there'll be two different performances over the 2-night run.
Yes. Okay. It's going to be totally. It's always different. It's very aleatorio.
All right. Well, let me remind our listeners that Paquito D'Rivera Quintet will play at Minor Auditorium at the SFJAZZ Center on Thursday, September 25th and Friday, September 26th. Showtimes are 7:30 for both nights. Tickets are available at sfjazz.org. And please visit Paquito D'Rivera's website. There'll be a link in the show description. Paquito, thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go?
See you soon.
All right. A perfect ending. Thank you so much for your time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Backstage Bay Area Podcast. Don't forget to visit us online at BackstageBayArea.com for more insights and stories. Be sure to join us next time for more engaging conversations with local talent and touring musicians. Until then, keep the music alive, and we'll see you backstage.